To understand the hiring process, it's important to understand all the technology being used by job boards and hiring companies. Most people incorrectly assume that people are still reading resumes. While just a few years ago, about 70% of hiring companies were using applicant tracking systems to manage applicants, now almost all companies and job boards like Monster, CareerBuilder, Indeed, and others are using resume filtering technology and applicant tracking systems. The proliferation of this technology has been driven by the volume of applicants to each job and the need to search for applicants based on specific criteria for each job. It's probably worth noting at this point, even if you network your way into a company, your resume will be put into an applicant tracking system. This is because companies are governed by equal employment opportunity laws to prevent discrimination and other unfair hiring practices. In most companies, hiring managers are no longer allowed to accept emailed or physical resumes without it first being submitted to the applicant tracking software. So, referrals, social media, and LinkedIn all are subject to the applicant tracking system as well. Let's look at an applicant tracking system to understand how your application makes its way to the hiring manager. First, you see a job posting on a job board or corporate career website. You submit your application. The first thing to happen is your resume is parsed into its components so the applicant tracking system can show all applicants in the same format. Here's a resume in an applicant tracking system. As you can see, this is not in Microsoft Word or PDF. Instead, it is in the applicant tracking system. For your resume to get into the applicant tracking system, it needs to be formatted in a particular way. Unfortunately, over 70% of resumes contain some formatting error when being put into an applicant tracking system. This is why preptel shows you how to format your resume so that you know it will be seen properly. Next, applicant tracking systems are designed to streamline the hiring process. Applicant tracking systems use technology to rate and rank candidates to each job. To do this, a recruiter just needs to click this button to identify the top applicants for this job. In the past, the recruiter would have to view each resume and assess each one to determine if it was a good match. Now, technology does this step, reducing the time and effort so recruiters can do other tasks. What job seekers need to understand is that your resume needs to be at the top of the ranking, otherwise you will not be considered for an interview. Let me give an example. I have here a top candidate from Harvard Medical School who worked at Harvard Medical for the past 5 years. This person is going to apply for a similar job at a major pharmaceutical company. This person has a top degree and has more work experience in this specific field than required by the job posting. You might think this person surely would be reviewed for an interview. However, when we submitted this person's resume, they ranked low on the list with only a 48% relevance rating. No one was ever going to see their resume. The reason for their poor ranking is that they didn't realize how their resume was being ranked. This is where preptel helps candidates. For each job, a set of unique keywords are required to get a top ranking. Preptel identifies these keywords so every resume submitted is ranked at the top of the candidate list. Let's go back to our Harvard graduate candidate. In reviewing our candidate's resume, we see 20 keywords are missing and he has a weak rating. After adding these 20 phrases to the person's resume, preptel now rates this candidate as very strong. Now let's go back and submit this candidate to the job. Only this time we will change their name from Greg Common to Greg Optimized so that we can see the difference. Presto! We are now at the top of the candidate list with 100% match to the job. Now the recruiter will send my resume to the hiring manager for review. This concludes this video. Thank you for using preptel.